I want to thank everybody for joining us for today's session entitled Managing the Lab Beyond the Four Walls. Today's presentation is brought to you by Astrix and presented by StarLIMS. We go to the next slide, please. Before we get into the presentation from our friends at StarLIMS and get into their great product demonstration that we're all excited to see today, I want to tell you a little bit about who Astrix is if you haven't attended or been a part of any of our webinars yet. Just a little bit about the company. You know, our mission statement for over 25 years, our unique breadth of highly specialized services. We can go back to the slide there, Blair. Highly specialized services, processes, and technology. We've enabled Astrix to become a leading partner in transforming the way that science-based businesses succeed. We are a consulting firm. We do work throughout the lab informatics, the R&D, and almost the entire R&D spectrum at this point. Couple of fast facts. We were established in 1995. We're vendor and platform agnostic while we work with folks from great companies like the one you're going to see today. We work, with a great many different technology vendors in the space. We operate from locations in the U.S. and overseas, and over 1,200 employees, 90% of which hold advanced science degrees, which is something that we like to hang our hat on. Our headquarters are in Red Bank, New Jersey. And the type of companies that we work with and help are startups to Fortune 1000. We work with life science companies, chemical, CPG, government agencies, as well as research institutions. Now we can go to the next slide, please. So in terms of the service spectrum that we bring to the table, we support the continuum of scientific operations and data management. What that means is from the very beginning, we can help folks at a strategic level, helping them develop strategic innovation and roadmaps, enterprise architecture, helping them really kind of determine, what that technology stack is going to look like, what their R&D tech stack is going to look like. From there, we can help them with data management and governance, making sure that they're implementing the right strategy and methods and frameworks that is going to put them in the position to be successful, as well as compliant with the necessary regulations. Business analysis, making sure you've got the right people, place, and technologies in place, and then solution selection services, helping companies decide what are the right mix of software applications and should those be in the cloud, et cetera, that you're going to need to move your business forward. From there, we can help with development and implementation of those technologies. And then finally, we also have the ability to even staff your laboratory with scientific professionals or with IT professionals. It's a little bit of a unique piece of the Astrix business there. So that's a little bit about us. I want to now take a moment and shift gears and introduce our speakers for today and our friends from StarLIMS. So we can go to the next slide, please. So we've got a few folks with us. The first is Greg Emmert. Greg has over 25 years experience and success producing profitable and innovative sales and marketing teams. Also joining us is David Hunt. He's a global account manager. David has PMP and has spent his last 20 years in software sales, bringing a consultative approach to ensure project success. And Robert, I'm not going to attempt that last name. I'll let you introduce yourself when it gets time to it. Robert's a business consultant. Robert has a passion for learning about the customer process and demonstrating how StarLIMS can assist them with compliance and efficiency. And Blair, a business development manager, spent 7 years in sales helping clients identify the best solution for their needs. So thank you, everybody from StarLIMS, for joining us today. I'll go ahead and turn it over to, I believe, Greg, you're going to kind of pick up from here. I'm going to sit back and enjoy the presentation, but we'll assist in moving us from presentation to demo mode.
Sure, Kevin, certainly appreciate it. And thank you, Kevin. Thanks, everybody, for joining today's presentation. So just a quick background in terms of StarLIMS and who we are. Certainly, we are a laboratory information management software company. LIMS stands for that vernacular. We serve over 2,000 organizations around the globe in over 70 countries. We have different vertical industries that we serve in, whether it's manufacturing, whether it's environmental services, whether it's public health or life sciences. The next slide, please. So if you take a look at the StarLIMS unified solution, what is a unified solution? And clearly under StarLIMS, one unified solution means it's under one common technology platform, which is of significant value to the end clients. So when you look at LIMS, certainly StarLIMS goes beyond lab data management. StarLIMS is a comprehensive solution that improves the quality and safety throughout the entire product lifecycle. It's configurable features that help laboratories from the simple intake to the delivery of accurate results. We drive smarter decision-making processes for your business and customers throughout the entire process. So one of StarLIMS' unique features actually is its configurable workflows. So if you look at the configurable workflows, they are different for each industry segment that we offer, whether it's, again, in life sciences, quality manufacturing, public health, environmental services, or forensics. Now, when you talk about StarLIMS Laboratory Execution System, or LES, that's one of the important features that we have within, again, this unified solution, where it's easily document imports through method execution. What we do is we help to ensure standard operating procedures, or SOPs, that are followed and tests are being developed in compliance in a very controlled fashion. Our ELN, that's one of the most powerful electronic replacement tools that maximizes your lab's efficiency and ensures compliance by allowing execution of test workflows without any interruption. Now, our portal allows data access actually through remote sites. If you move to our cloud solution, with our cloud services, you don't have to purchase any hardware or installed software or manage your system interfaces when you purchase a StarLIMS solution. So your cloud services actually provide you with a public or private cloud offering hosted on AWS. All the infrastructure and software licensing is taken care of. The application high availability up to 99.9% is taken care of. Development, test, production application environments, HIPAA requirements, all those are taken care of within the StarLIMS cloud. If you talk about the analytics solution, we have an advanced analytics solution that also allows you to view and analyze all the lab data stored in your StarLIMS solution, so you can make critical business decisions. Quicker answers to questions for root cause analysis, identifying bottlenecks caused by performance issues, or opportunities for improvement that may help build business cases for new resources. If you talk about the StarLIMS SDMS, that's probably one of the most powerful tools that we offer within our portfolio. SDMS acts as a central repository for all of your lab's valuable document and data files. Our SDMS solution allows you to make it easier for your users to access and share information across the organization. For example, some of the features within SDMS, you can eliminate disparate data resources, you can extract valuable scientific data, you can do automatic file processing, you can reduce cycle time, and certainly ensuring compliance through our 21 CFR Part 11 compliance. One of the other things that SDMS does, it certainly promotes collaboration along with integration solution suite. So you can actually use SDMS to do instrument integration as one of its key features. Now, lastly, mobility, and the mobility applications are beyond the four walls. So if you look at StarLIMS mobile solution, what that allows you to do, or your staff to do, is to collect, access, and analyze the valuable data that your lab has on the move. You can record sample information on site, view testing results, and take immediate action on your entire sample and product lifecycle processes, no matter where you may be. And that's going to be a part of today's demonstration and presentation in just a few more slides. Blair, the next slide, please. Now, to further document and segment, I've picked these two verticals because quality manufacturing, along with life sciences, really makes up about 90% of the StarLIMS portfolio. But within these vertical industries, we actually have what I call micro vertical industries. For example, you have pharma, biotech, food and beverage, oil and gas, and chemicals really make up the subset of our quality manufacturing solution. As I said earlier, these are configurable workflows that really set us apart from our competitors when we go to the analyzation of such. And below, you'll see some of the customers that we have, for example, Shell or Chevron within our oil and gas portfolio. If you move to the right and look at the life sciences vertical, again, the same thing applies, where you may look at whether it's the technology lab or CRO or contract service labs, again, making up a fairly large, substantial piece of our portfolio. Now, life science is actually the fastest growing vertical, where quality manufacturing has the most existing clients that we currently have. But within this vertical, as you can see, for example, public health, we have the CDC and some of the other folks that are some of our robust customers within the life sciences vertical. I'm going to turn this over to David. Next slide, please.
Hi, thank you, Greg. My name is David Hunt, and I'd like to drill down a little bit more into mobile computing, mobile testing, reasons why we'd want to do it, and then go into a couple use case scenarios. So with our mobile app, which is designed and architected to mirror what you could do on your laptop or your desktop, but we put it on your phone or your iPad or your Android device. It gives you go anywhere capabilities. I like to tease and say, you know, you could manage your lab from the hot tub, but wherever you are, wherever you want to go, you're able to use it. Secondly, you know, the internet does go out, and there's a lot of times when you don't have access to it. You could be on the top of a mountain, you could be in a valley, you could be the Grand Canyon. One of my hobbies is dad jokes, and so I Googled, you know, no internet connection jokes, and thousands of them came up, and I found one that was my favorite. So why don't horses use the internet? Because there's no stable connection. It's a joke, but it's real. It goes out. So we want to be able to continue to do our work. When the internet comes back, it will sync itself up. So you don't have to stop just because you've lost your internet connection, whether that's in the laboratory or, like I said, at the top of the mountain or the bottom of a canyon. Third, you might want to empower non-employees. Maybe you're doing a drug sample and you want to let the doctor scan themselves, or the nurse, one of their staff. You then want to give them the ability to upload it to you. They know the sample's coming, and then you can report the results back to the healthcare professional. So there's a lot of use case scenarios in there, and it's really only limited to what you can think of or what your company needs. Next slide, Claire. So one of the use case scenarios that we've thought up is, you know, you're a food and beverage manufacturer, you might have a recall, you might have a potential recall. You can actually send a representative out to the Walmart, that location, do the test. You're on site, you have GPS capabilities, you can take pictures of it, you can have a chain of custody, you can figure out why it might need to be recalled or not recalled. Another scenario that we've got a client doing now is they're doing a Alzheimer's study, and they're going to go to the assisted living facility. Well, they don't want to use public Wi-Fi there, and the facility is not going to grant them access to their private network. And you may be in a building multiple stories tall, you're not going to have internet connection. You want to be able to take your samples. You see, you can take your phone, scan your tubes, draw your blood, put it in there, scan it again, and away you go. There's no reason to stop computing or to interrupt anybody else's internet. Environmentally, we found that this is a very big concern with almost all of our manufacturing clients. With its GPS capabilities, you can prove where you're taking your sample. You can take a photo of, say, the tree you're taking a sample of, or the bend in the river, or the soil. You can then take your sample. We know where you are. We know that you did it. We have an absolute chain of custody. This is a blockchain-ready solution. Which will give us the ability to continue to make our stakeholders in the surrounding areas within a plant, or say you're doing mining. We have another large uranium company that takes samples assiduously on and on and on, all over and all around. And they find that the environmental testing aspects of this allow them to keep their neighbors very happy with them. Blair, next slide. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to turn it over to Robert in a second. So we're going to look at how we can log in a sample, collecting, which we already talked about a little bit, but Robert's going to show us how we're going to do it, the results of that sample, and consuming inventory. And then we hope that you like the look and feel of it. User management. Robert?
Robert,
you
we're going to
very
go ahead and
much,
switch.
David.
Yep, Robert, we're going to make you presenter, and your audio is coming through okay, and you should be able to share your application now. So we're going to switch over to the application demo portion of this.
Yeah, can you confirm, Kevin, that you could see my screen now?
Yeah, it's on a screensaver, some purple mountains, but yep, I see it.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. Thank you. So thanks, thank you, Astrix, for allowing us the opportunity to present today. So my name is Robert Maloney. I'm a business consultant with StarLIMS. And what I will be presenting is an example of one of the mobile applications that we have available. So I am currently working on my iPad and mirroring that for this presentation. So we do have a StarLIMS application where we can access those different types of apps to perform different tasks using a mobile device. So username and password are required to gain access to the mobile app. So I'll just put my password in here and log in. So as with StarLIMS, when it comes to the mobile applications, a secondary information is required in order to access the system. So we need to define what site we want to be accessing. So it's possible as we set up our facility or facilities within StarLIMS to use one or multiple sites. So site does allow us to segregate the data from one location to another. And we can also choose what role we want to log in as. So roles usually are permissions or linked to different types of permissions that can be granted based on the role that we're going to be using to log into the system. So I'm using an iPad. These mobile apps are compatible with iOS devices as well as Android. So once logged in, and when we're speaking about using the mobile apps outside the four walls of the lab, we may be working in scenarios where we're not connected to our network. So this is an example that we can see here where we have this sync button, which allows us essentially to sync the data between the tablet and within our StarLIMS system. So if we can envision a scenario where we are maybe working in some sort of manufacturing facility, and maybe we need to collect some environmental monitoring samples. It's very possible that there's certain parts of the plant which are connected to our Wi-Fi. So this is an example of where we can use the offline capabilities of the StarLIMS environmental monitoring application to manage the collection of our samples. So we'll start with our EM collection app here. So we'll see a number of different samples that have been scheduled within StarLIMS that are ready for collection. So we'll see a couple of things. If we can see here, we have our batch number, in this case EM0120-001. We can see the location or how far we are from that actual sampling point. So the mobile app can use your GPS coordinates, and this is actually a feature which is important for this type of collection, for example, or even if we're doing some environmental collection of, say, water or soil samples, that sort of thing, where maybe we want to just ensure that we're collecting from the correct location. So we can use this geolocation feature to make sure that we're in the right area. And then we have some additional information such as what site we're logged into, what building we should be working at. So in this case, we're going to be at the main building. We can get a snapshot view of when the sample collection is due. And the one on the right just indicates that there's one sample to be collected as part of that batch. There are search capabilities. So maybe we want to see what samples need to be collected at our air station, so we could start typing that in. And this is going to bring up a couple of batches for which we need to collect samples at our air station, for example. It's also possible to filter through those results. So maybe we'll want to filter them by the distance that we're at from our current location. Again, we already spoke about those GPS coordinates. Maybe it's just going to help us kind of plan our day, right? So maybe we'll want to sort it by distance, and then we could start with the sampling point that's closest to us and then work our way outwards from there. Maybe we'll want to go by due date, so depending on when those exact sample collections are due, or maybe we're working on by specific batch number. Maybe we'll want to sort by our sample point. So maybe again we'll find our air station 01 here. So that would bring up again those same results. Maybe we'll want to search by some other feature. So maybe we'll want to search by the room. Maybe we want to see all the sampling points from within our general laboratory. So those will bring up those results from that perspective. In terms of actually collecting the sample, so let's choose a specific sample here. We'll look at our packaging area. And we'll see that there are two samples that need to be collected. So we have our sample number, which is indicated on the top in bold, and our sampling point, which is in this case the pill counter 01 and 02. And again, the purple indicating that a sample needs to be collected, and 1 indicating that there is just one sample to collect. So I will pick my first sample here. So additional information comes up now with regards to the sample. So again, just confirmation of the sample point. We see what type of sample it is. So it's a surface sample. We can select again the exact GPS location, make sure that we're in the right area to verify that. And we can click on collect to collect our sample. At this point, we'll see that it enables the camera on our device so that we can scan our barcode. So I have just a sample label here, which has some general information on it. Try to hold that steady a second so you can see, and I'll just scan the barcode. And the barcode will now change my sample from the green or from the purple 1 to a green check mark to indicate that the sample has been collected. It's possible as part of this process that maybe there's additional information that we might want to be collecting. Maybe I want to take some notes here, for example. So maybe I can say workbench in disarray, or some sort of notes that I want to associate with the sample. Maybe I can already tell based on the working environment that we'll probably get some out of spec results. So I just want to kind of document that. It is possible with certain applications, certain mobile apps. Also, maybe we can add a photo. So David had mentioned that within his presentation. Maybe as part of our collection process, we need to take a photo of the sample that we're going to be collecting. So that first sample has been collected. I'll do the same for the second sample. So this again, as I hit collect, will open up my camera. So I can scan off that second barcode. So same action, we see green check marks, so now both samples have been collected. And at this point, we'll see a green check mark here, indicating that all samples for this specific batch have been collected. And once we get back to our facility, we would then just have to come back on our sync button to sync that information back with our StarLIMS system. And then we will see the sample move from pending collection within StarLIMS to a sample that has been collected. And we can go through our normal sample reception process within StarLIMS, and then perform whatever manipulations need to be done, send the sample off to the lab to actually perform the testing. So that's just one example of one of the mobile apps that we have available, just to kind of give everyone a taste and a feel for what's available. We do have a number of apps available. So if we're more on the life sciences side, we have sample collection apps like sample collection for clinical trials. We had also developed one for COVID sample collection. I mentioned for environmental customers, we also have environmental field sample application as well. General one, inventory management. So maybe if we're moving some inventory from one place to another, and we're working in a warehouse where we don't have connectivity, that application would be available as well. And besides the actual mobile applications, we do have some other capabilities for mobile devices in general. So our laboratory execution system, for example, where we can document different elements with regards to sample collection. That's available as well, and those are designed specifically for use on mobile devices. Again, iOS or Android enabled. So I will just pass it on to, I'm not sure if it's David or Greg, just for a quick close.
Yeah, we can bring the slides back up, Blair. A couple things that I wanted to point out for the folks that are on. You're welcome to ask questions now. If you weren't on for the initial part of the presentation, I mentioned that you could type a question in the question function on the right. It should be on the right hand side of your screen on GoToWebinar. We won't read your name. We won't read your company. We'll just read the question out loud. I do have a couple on the floor that I wanted to get to. So if you have the questions, ask them now. If we don't get to them, that's okay. We will reach back out one-on-one to try to answer your questions. But let me jump on these couple of ones that are in there right now. Let me see here. Okay, what is a real life example of a current customer using mobile frequently? Anybody on the StarLIMS?
Yeah, I'll take that one. This is Dave.
That's
so
David.
We have a clinical research organization that's using it's doing a trial for HIV medicines, and they're doing a lot of testing in sub-Sahara. There's no connection at all. They go out all day, they collect their samples, they get back to their hotel, and they sync it up. And they're looking to do about 25,000 collections for this trial. And all of them have been done using the mobile app.
Great. Good question and great answer. Thank you for that, David. Let me see what else we got here. Yeah, well, I guess on top of that, so while I'm doing field testing, how do I know if I'm not going to lose my data? So I guess that would be a good follow-up question to that example you gave. I think, who do we want to tackle that one?
Yeah, I can. This is Robert. I can get that one.
Hey, Robert.
So essentially, it's a great question for sure. The way that the app works is that first off, the data is encrypted, so it is secured and stored really on the cache of the device itself. So that's how it works. We really don't have any cases of customers losing their data from that perspective. And for sure, as part of our development and testing and validation process, we do perform security testing internally. For the mobile applications, there's also a third party who's involved with the validation process and ensuring that the data is secure on the device.
Great. Okay, let me see what we got here. How is Part 11 compliance handled for the mobile app-based applications discussed towards the end of the presentation today? Who wants to handle that one?
Yeah, so it's Robert. I could handle that as well. So as part of the mobile app is really an extension of the core LIMS solution. So whether it's the core LIMS itself or the mobile applications, when it comes to compliance, StarLIMS is fully compliant with the requirements of CFR 21 Part 11, 21 CFR Part 11, and it is part of as mentioned, the testing that we perform in order to ensure that that the data is secure and that there's full audit trail capabilities on anything related really to that mobile app.
Great. Thank you for the question and obviously a great answer on that one. Let's do one more and then we'll get wrapped up. We're at the 1:30 mark here. All right, so here's the question. We're a testing lab. How can we empower our physicians to be able to take samples in their office, and can they access the sample results after we have the test done? That's clear. Who wants to tackle that one?
Yeah. It's Robert again. I'll get that one too. So we did touch on some of the different applications, mobile applications that are available. Sample collection, whether it's from the perspective of a physician, for example, or as mentioned, if it's environmental monitoring, if it's part of our environmental field sampling. The collection process can be managed for sure outside of the laboratory using these types of mobile apps. And in terms of getting the results or accessing the results after that, they wouldn't necessarily be available from within the mobile app itself, but we do have, again, as an extension of our LIMS core product, external or even internal customer portals, which are available. So the customers can access their results and monitor the progress of the samples using the respective portals for our different verticals.
Great, appreciate that answer, and again that question. One thing I do want to bring up for the folks that are on with us, if you want to see a full demo of what you saw, we're going to go ahead and get the recording